Hello and welcome to the J Train Podcast. That's right. You're joining us on a Monday or a Thursday with your emails, your questions, your stories. And we're speaking right to your ear. I'm the little birdie. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Just fluttering over and letting you know that we're here for you. Close your eyes. Feel the wind in your hair. Feel Papa JT whispering sweet nothings into your ear. Now I want you to open those eyes. Look at the world. Tell the people about the J Train Podcast. Every Tuesday and Thursday we give advice, and it's the J Train Podcast. Every Monday and Thursday, it is every Monday and Thursday we give the advice that you need. And there's a small boy who misses his mother. He asks, where is she? She is listening to the J Train. That's right. Every Monday and Thursday. Your emails, your stories, your questions. I got Shelby here on the ones and twos. Always a pleasure. I'm laughing because before this podcast, my girlfriend is next to me. She says, "Don't scream," but she can only hear half of what I'm saying. She doesn't hear Shelby's music playing that I'm singing along with. I was gonna DM Shelby. I'm gonna fucking kill you. So she said she was about to DM Shelby. I'm gonna fucking kill you. I listen. We had to do the.
She doesn't understand you have this musical ability. You keep it inside all the time. It needs to be let out.
I just need to let it out in that first 5 minutes of the podcast. Did you hear? I sang about a young boy missing his mom because she's listening to the podcast. Like, this is some deep shit.
People just love Josh Groban. I'm just like, he's amateur hour compared to what you're doing here.
Shelby, thank you. You're the only one on earth who understands me and my ability, and you don't try and clip my wings, unlike someone I'm living with.
You're an eagle that needs to soar.
I gotta stretch them out, and we do it every Monday and Thursday here on the J Train Podcast. If you're listening right now, the special, I'm sure, has billions of views at this point, but if it doesn't, if you haven't viewed it, socially distanced, of course, that's the stand-up special. I'm doing live shows, and the live shows will not all different material from the special. That's right. We go to work every day to make sure that the stand-up that you see is different than the YouTube special that you might have taken in with some friends. So I'm in Fort Lauderdale, Omaha, Nebraska. I probably already have been to some of these places. It's just, listen, jaredfreid.com for all my dates. I think Charleston is happening, Charleston, South Carolina. I'm also coming to Atlanta is in the books. I don't know when that is. Again, we're all over the place. But socially distanced, of course. That's the special. That is it. Go watch if you haven't already. If you have, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm very excited about today's guest. New to the podcast.
Yeah. This was like such an intro. Oh, it's not even done. Go.
On. We're not there yet. I'll bring you on. We're hitting some glitches. This never happens. I swear. Okay.
It's the moment you've all been waiting for. A new guest.
They're the host of the Pinky Promise podcast. Hilarious comic, Katie Arroyo. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. That was like such a the most intense intro that I have ever been a part of for any podcast.
You got lucky. You got lucky because I think that's a special one, right, Shelby? I think that's one that we're gonna remember because sometimes it's last episode we had the Guts music and I never know what's coming, so I just want to go along with it. And that was really I felt an out of body experience from that.
That was an epic improv moment that I just got to see.
I love it. So listen, I want everyone to know Katie is hilarious. She opened for me in Worcester.
Yeah.
And that's where we met, but we'd met before that a little bit, right?
I think so, but Worcester was the show. That was the first time I think we actually talked more, I want to say. And Worcester was just your crowds are my dream crowds because it's just all hot girls.
They're all beautiful women.
Yeah.
And this is why they all, if they're listening right now, they should follow you because you're hilarious. Where the ladies at? Where the ladies at? You're right. At Katie G Arroyo on all social media. It'll be all over my social media. I'll be, pushing people to you, so make sure you follow Katie. But you were so funny, and you did speak to them in a way that I think that people loved it.
My boyfriend always calls them spirit animals because they'll come up to me after the show and be like, "Oh my God, you're like my spirit animal. I feel the same way." And I did the shows with you, and I texted him on the way home, and I was like, "It was all spirit animals. It was couldn't have been better."
I love that so much. Well, I remember that Worcester show just because it was the first time that it was cold and people were still doing outdoor shows.
We were still pretending.
We were still pretending we were doing a show in a parking lot, and Worcester kind of feels post-apocalyptic before the COVID, and now a little bit more. I remember we were performing in a parking lot, and they were like, "Yeah, this is the strip club parking lot," or it used to be.
A strip club, I think. And then they were like, we put a tent over it and now it's a comedy club.
Yeah.
Here you are.
And I remember there was a step and repeat. And step and repeat is one of those phrases that no man knows what it is and every woman knows what it is. It's like step and repeat is just a part of a female world that I don't think and I know what it is. The step and repeat that they had was half taken down. It wasn't even erected. It was just kind of flying in the wind. And I, basically spent 10 minutes talking to them about how this is what my mom basically said my comedy career would be, just me in a parking lot yelling at people. But you were great on the show, and I want people to go. So after that show, we connected social media wise, obviously, and I love what you've been doing during quarantine. I want you to tell people about it. But before they tell people about that, your podcast, it's called Pinky Promise. Give people the 1-minute trailer about that.
Basically, we sit down with different comedians or people who have had some kind of wild story from their childhood. And then we just talk to people about different things relating to growing up. So we had Gus Constantelis come on to talk about losing his virginity in a bathhouse.
Crazy.
Yeah. We had someone who grew up in a haunted house, which we thought we might turn into a haunted house podcast because we were so
how do you grow up in a haunted house? Is it a house that would do the haunted house, or
I guess
that it was haunted itself?
It was haunted. She had all these stories and recordings, and all of her, it was an old house in California that she grew up in. Yeah. And she said she would see people in the house, and we started off just being yeah, we'll talk about this as a Halloween special. And then I was like, I don't think I can make it through this episode. I'm too scared. We record in a basement.
Well, that is so funny because you think of as we're getting haunted ourselves, you think of people are like, why do you become a comedian? That person's I grew up in a fucking haunted house. Yeah. That's why. It fucked me up. I had to tell people about this, right? When you don't the parents look at each other and go, oh, this is, if they're oh, where'd you mess up your kids? Well, it was the minute we took the mortgage on the house that was, called the murder house on the
literally,
on the block,
yeah. She said her sister's fucked up from it. She's
I can imagine.
It's I can't. I don't know. And it was a classic.
This song's playing every time you go to the bathroom. You're like, I just had to take a dump. Where's this music coming from?
Like, I wouldn't go to the bathroom at night. Like, I just couldn't do it. And then,
wow.
It was too much. But we had Gordon Baker Bone on to talk about.
Gordon's been on this podcast. Yeah, he's great.
I love him. And he told us about this epic breakup he had when he was growing up. And then he told us about how, I don't know if you know this about him, he has a massive, massive tattoo of a woman's face on his back. That is not well done. And he paid like $150 for it. And it's a girl who broke up with him. And she was like, I'm breaking up with you because you don't do anything that you say you're going to do. Like you told me you were going to get a tattoo of me and you didn't even do it. And they were broken up and he was like 19 and he went and got this woman's sort of her face tattooed on his back.
There should be things you're not allowed to say at certain ages in relationships. Like,
yes.
Oh, you didn't get the tattoo of me? It's like, yeah, but we're not able to drink yet. So let's push that. Let's chill on that. So everyone should go check out your podcast. It's called Pinky Promise. I love that. Childhood stories. That is great about growing up. Always interesting. Now, tell the people what you've been doing since quarantine, because I've been watching, kind of just interested. I think it's so cool.
Okay, so stand-up takes like 1 million hours a week, and every night of your week is filled up, and then stand-up got canceled basically for a while. Or at least it's slowed down. And my boyfriend is a huge gamer nerd. Like, I'm recording right now in like a NASA station in front of monitors that are like 4 feet wide. And he loves gaming. And I don't know if your listeners will know about this or not, but I had limited knowledge of this before we started doing it. But there's like a whole online community of people who just watch other people play video games.
So I'm familiar
Twitch.
I'm familiar that exists, but like, was your boyfriend a professional at it? Was he getting paid?
No.
Or is this just what he enjoyed? His hobby was to basically perform over these video games for other people? Do they call it performing?
He never even performed. He just was like, I watch this guy sometimes, or I'll put him on in the background. And like the way people listen to podcasts, I guess gamers will watch streamers on Twitch.
See, I remember growing up, like we would play Madden, and like playing Madden growing up with like my buddies on the couch, and like a couple of friends like I knew as people who watched, and I always thought it was the weirdest thing. Like, what are they getting out of this? But they did seem to like watching. So like, I do understand why it can be enjoyable for people, but I'm also like, this Twitch world I'm so not familiar with. So, and I have some kind of like, I've heard news stories like it's good for women, but it's also hard for women.
Yeah.
So explain how so your boyfriend's doing this hours a day, minutes a day?
No, so he never did it before, and then he was like, we should start a Twitch stream because you're so terrible at games. And he's like, we'll call it Katie Learns, and I'll like teach you video games, which I was like, first of all, what the fuck what is there to learn? And there are all these, like, I have this is a controller, like and they all have different rules.
Well,
like, I'm next to like 7 controllers. I don't fucking know about any of them.
Well, and this is hilarious because I remember when I like played Madden, my time with Madden ended when the controller changed. When the controller changed, that meant that I was, obsolete. And some people move on to the new controller. I just never. It was out of my age range. I was in college, it was more important for me to drink, I guess, at that point.
That's what I always joke around. I'm like, no, I didn't play video games. I like had friends. Like, I don't know what this is. But so we started streaming, and basically you like sign in, and then people can come and watch you while you're playing. And you're like, normal people I think play like well. And your community can like chat with you, so people can drop in, and it's basically like a group hang where people are chatting and you can respond to their chat, and then they can watch you and what you're doing on screen. But the thing is, I am terrible. So it is me like screaming. My boyfriend is screaming at me because I'm so bad at it. Like he's like, there's no fucking way you can die this many times or like whatever. And people just like suggest games for me to be terrible at, and I will play them. And we started this almost a year ago, and he was like, we have to come up with a plan for like when you're good. And I was like, oh, you don't need to worry about that. Like that's not going to be a thing. And then a year later, he's like, how do you not know this? This is run. Like, how do you not know this is the run button?
Have you developed a following now of people who are like watching you kind of like
be terrible?
Be terrible? Like, is that...
I was like, we'll try this. And then we found out, well, I guess he already knew, but I realized you can get paid to do it. So we like started it. And then within a week, I think we got what's called affiliated, which means you have a certain amount of followers and now people can like pay you.
Wow.
And so then we started like making money off of it. And it's become like this dumb thing that I thought was dumb, and now we do it together, and it's like our hang time.
Do you like playing video games? First of all, do you like playing video games with him? Second of all, do you are there any games you like playing?
I like drinking. And I like playing Doom. There's a game called Doom Eternal.
I remember Doom growing up. Yeah, that was big. Yeah.
So the new one is Doom Eternal. Like there's names of things that I don't wish that I knew, but I do now. So Doom Eternal, which is just like this massive war zone, I guess. Like I don't even know. There's a whole storyline of like there's an alien or something, and I'm an alien too, or whatever.
I think they try to turn it into a movie.
Yeah, it has movie vibes. And that game is really fun. And then we played like Donkey Kong Country, which is like an old game. And that
I remember Donkey
really
Kong Country. Yeah. And so are you and your boyfriend, do you feel closer to him because of this? Like, I think if there's a woman out there listening, would you suggest to them to carve out an hour to play video games with their boyfriend that's obsessed with video games? Like, is this something that has helped?
I would say yes, because as long as your boyfriend's not an asshole. So
I would say that's the rule for most things. Yeah.
For most activities. But for us, definitely, like, we were spending a ton of time together, but as COVID hit and you could do less outside, he was like, oh, I might start like gaming more. And if I wasn't doing this with him, I would have nothing to do with his gaming. But now it's like, we'll do this stream and we are hanging out together and interacting. So I would tell a girlfriend, definitely do it. I have a limit on the time that I could play a game for. Like I know guys probably could play for like 10 hours and I'm at my max at like 2 hours.
But you are enjoying the time together. Like, do you feel like I think that's so nice. But I think like, because I've been, just from following you on social media, I've been like, wow, this is a whole world. Like you can see you're like getting ready for it. We're doing this at a certain time. That is a fun. So I want everyone to go follow Katie on Instagram and Twitter at Katie G Arroyo. But if you're on Twitch, it's Katie Learns. Yes. So get involved. Shelby, are you familiar with this community, Twitch? I feel like you would know about this world a little bit.
I have a lot of friends who like have their own channels and. I can't be bothered with it though.
Okay. That's how I felt. Like, what?
Shelby needs to find a gamer girlfriend or something that brings them into the world.
You got to find a gamer girl.
So let's do the emails. Katie, I'm pumped to have you at Gmail, or jtrainpodcast@gmail.com, jtrainpodcast@gmail.com, at Katie G Arroyo. Go follow. Pinky Promise is her podcast. Go check it out. Did my Tinder date have a boyfriend? Are you ready?
Yes.
A little background. I just got out of a 4-year relationship that started in college and just couldn't stand up to a year of COVID long distance. Naturally, I wanted to see what was up with the dating apps to get a rebound and see if it would get me feeling better. A couple weeks ago, I matched with an absolutely stunning 99 question mark. Now, we have a rating system here on the podcast. Men or women can use it. Face, body, personality. So he's saying that she's a 99 question mark. We hit it off in the DMs. She gave me her number, and we were texting for a week nonstop, really hitting it off, casually throwing around when we would meet up. We settled on a Thursday once we both got off of work. After I asked if she wanted to try this place close to her for drinks, I called it getting drinks to keep it casual and not freak her out, but she instantly started calling it our date. We met up and continued hitting it off, and she invited me back to her studio apartment to watch a movie on this projector she got. We got a little high and cuddled and watched the movie. I went in for a kiss, didn't get rejected. She let out a little moan for a second, but then stopped me and said, "Let's finish this movie." We started drinking a little more, and I got a bit more high, and we talked a little bit, somehow getting onto the topic of my ex before I changed the subject. I kept watching with her and went in again to see if I could start anything back up. And this run was even shorter before she kind of moved away from me. She was on her phone a bit more than earlier before getting a call from her friend that wanted to come over because her ex was cheating on her right before Valentine's or something. She was FaceTiming the rest of the time basically before telling her friend she was going to come over to watch rom-coms, and I showed myself out grabbing one last kiss on the way. After that, we maybe had 3 more texts the day after until it went to complete ghost mode. I tried following her on Insta, but she didn't accept my request. Later, out of curiosity, I looked her up on Facebook and saw she was in a relationship, and it seems like she is active when it comes to updating her Facebook. Does she have a boyfriend? Did she finesse me for drinks? Did I turn her off by accidentally talking about my ex while high? Was her friend really going through a crisis, or did she call for backup to get me out of there? Was it a combo? What do you think?
Ooh, my guess would be that she probably is like on and off again with that boyfriend, and maybe they were on like a break period, and she was just seeing what was out there, and then they probably got back together or whatever. They're hitting an on period. Yeah,
I think it's interesting, this email, because the way you answer that is I think like there's femaleness to it. Like it's not like if this was a guy, we'd be like, the guy's cheating. Yeah. Fuck him. You know, we hear it's a woman and we're like, their relationship is bad. There's something going on. You know, like
you wouldn't come up with this. Yeah. Like,
right?
Yeah. I don't know why we give women the benefit of the doubt, but we do.
but I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. Like, and even like, you know, you are the same. We have to remember that whatever I'm doing, they're doing, and whatever they're doing, I'm doing within 10%. He wrote in the beginning of his email that naturally I wanted to see what was on the dating apps to get a rebound and see if it would get me feeling better. That's why she's on there.
Yeah,
she's trying to feel. We're all trying to feel better. In those first couple dates, you're just on there to feel a little good. And so when he ends it with, did I? So whatever her situation is, and I'm with Katie, where I think her situation is in flux. I think she gets on the dating app to like try and get her mind off it. It gets real because it's fun. She did call it a date. I don't think someone who's cheating would be looking to call things a date. No. I think they would want it to be as casual as you were trying to make it happen. So that's a little bit of clue into her psyche. You go back to her place, you watch a movie, she's into it, but then the kiss happens and she's like, I don't feel this. Text the friend, SOS, friend calls, hey, we got to get out of here, shoos you out. And now she can go back to her boyfriend and not feel as guilty, or maybe that was what got her to realize that her relationship was the right one for her, right?
Yeah. I think she was just like, I like that he was questioning him, or not, I guess I don't like it, but it's interesting that he's questioning himself. Like, was I too boring? Was I this or that? And honestly, he probably just wasn't her boyfriend. Like, she probably was just like, let me try, just see what's out there. And then nothing is out there that works for her. And it's probably nothing that he did. They just didn't click or whatever. But I feel like she wouldn't do such an elaborate ruse to cheat.
Yeah, I don't either. And he writes, the one question that's funny to me, did she finesse me for free drinks?
No.
If someone has their own studio apartment, they can also afford the $6 drink. I think guys need to stop doing this thing. Like, and I understand the joke. I understand where it comes from. You know, women make fun of it too. Like, oh, just got to get that free meal. I get it. The idea that someone would, like, let's look at it rationally. I would rather spend It's like when someone at a show, when the drunkest person at a show comes up to you and goes, "Can I buy you a shot? Can I buy you a drink?" Mm-hmm. They're buying you that drink because then you have to spend time with them.
Yeah.
I always, and I when I was first doing comedy, I didn't do this, and I wish I had, where I'll buy my own drinks just so I can keep my own time. Yeah. So the idea that a woman goes out with you for free drinks, no, she's got some Stolio at her house. She doesn't need a fucking $14 Stolio from you.
The cost of one or two drinks is not worth listening about your ex for 4 hours.
Absolutely. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Here with Katie Arroyo at Katie G Arroyo. Pinky Promises the podcast. She's on Twitch. I love this. I love that. You know, life gives you COVID and you turn it into my boyfriend and I play Doom. Yeah. So at Katie Learns on Twitch. Lifestyle question. I love a lifestyle question. You ready? Roommate blues. Jared, feather to you and your lovely guests. I'm really hoping you can give me some roommate advice. I just moved in with my really good friend a few weeks ago. Overall, things are okay, but I've been going through a rough time. I'm 22, dropped out of college, don't know what I'm doing with my life, and applying for minimum wage jobs every day and hearing nothing back and just overall feeling pretty down on myself. My roommate and I have been really open about mental health and struggles in the past and have helped each other through a lot of rough points, but I'm finding living together very different. She is constantly making fun of me, something we do a lot and usually doesn't get to me this much, saying things she really notices the age difference between us and how I'm acting my age. She's 25, and how I'm being dramatic, calling me a bad driver in front of my boyfriend, then straight up manipulating me as a joke. She admitted that that's what she was doing. Then calling me sensitive and confusing when I get upset, confusing because I'm not the best at receiving compliments, especially from people who don't normally give them. I'm feeling really lost, and if I'm being honest, I'm reaching a scary place. I'm a recovering addict. So hearing all the things I do wrong on a daily basis isn't helping, and I really don't know how to approach the situation. For reference, I'm in therapy as well, and have been for years. Mental health is something I've always struggled with, and I've worked really hard to get where I am today, and don't plan on giving up now. It's just hard to keep going when you can't even be comfortable in your own home. Thanks for any advice. So, you know, sometimes this podcast takes a little bit of a turn into serious town. I would say this is a serious email that started in a place that I'm sure most people can relate to. You're living with someone that and this happens as you get older too, where your roommate becomes the mirror a little bit, and they'll call you out on things, and you can't fluff things up for a roommate, no matter who that is, right? Like you can't, you know, if you say, "Of course I do my laundry every week," your roommate goes, "Every week?" You know, like, and you can't, it's like when you meet people from your hometown, why it's a little bit more uncomfortable because the hometown people know you for who you were, or you know, because they know your parents. So Katie, what do you think of this situation? Have you ever had a bad roommate situation like this? I'm not like that, but I will say I'm in my 30s now, so hopefully roommates are a thing of the past, but I did kind of come up with a rule where I would try not to live with people who are my close friends, because the line of like emotional dependency is blurred because they're your best friend, so they should be able to give you all of their time, but the roommate probably doesn't have the energy to be emotionally available for her in the way that, like, it's easy to talk to your best friend for 4 hours and be like, "Oh, you know, I'm so sorry you're going through this," and hang out with them. But then you get to go home to your own house and you get a break from being kind of that person's counselor, or they're not dependent on you. And then if you're best friends, then that person's always with them 24 hours a day. Yeah, this song comes on when you're like doing a 2-hour hang in the park talking about your ex-boyfriends. Yeah. But then the song cuts out the minute it's like, "Okay, I'm going home." And it's like, now like, it's just you two. I'm not done being sad. I want to be sad at breakfast. I'm with you on that. And I also, the other thing that she says in her email is that they make fun of each other. Exactly. Which, like, with friends, it's hard because, like, when does that end? When do we cross the line? And you know, she calls you sensitive because And it's like, no, is a punching bag sensitive because it ran out of stuffing? No, you punched the shit out of it.
Yeah.
It's fucking dead because of you. So I think she needs to have an honest conversation. I think also she mentions like kind of where she is in life. You're 22, dropped out of college, don't know what I'm doing with my life, applying for jobs. This person's 25. The difference between 22 and 25 is enormous. And I say this on the podcast all the time because 25, even though it's still young, it's a little more established. You've gone through the beats of an adult year a few times.
Yeah.
Like that's a big deal. Like dealing with tax season a few times, that'll grow you up. That'll, like get a few tax seasons under your belt. Then you start feeling a little more sure about what you're doing, or also just a little bit more on solid footing. Where 22, you're like, every day is this like new experience that you feel dumb for not knowing because you're an adult. You just went through college, or you just got through with some alone years away from your parents. So you beat yourself up because you're like, I should know how to do taxes. And it's like, no, you shouldn't. This is all hard stuff.
And I feel like the movies always show people like you get out of college and now you're working your dream job and you're moving towards your goal. But the reality is a lot of people just float around from 22 to 25. So the writer, I feel like, go easy on yourself for that, because there's people who are still floating around at 28 and at 38. I do feel like she's probably asking a lot of her friends, but the friend, I really wish the friend would write in so we could say, hey, you should have an adult conversation with her instead of just being bitchy.
Right. And I think that starts with this person. You can't start at jokes to get to real.
Yeah, exactly.
I think she's got to kind of like, hey, I've been feeling, and she said they're open about mental health stuff. So like, hey, I just want to let you know I'm feeling really down on myself. I'm not in really the mood for jokes right now. And also what I would say to this person, and I know this seems like a drastic turn in advice, but like sometimes when the money stuff is worked out, when your life is handleable, like if you have $20 in your pocket, you feel comfortable having a $10 meal. So what I mean by that is like when you're 22, dropped out of college, and you have a roommate and you're not sure what to do with your life, maybe it's subletting your apartment to someone else and finding and moving home to readjust, get that job, and maybe the apartment and moving in with someone comes after the other stuff is worked out. And you don't find that out until you see how you feel. Like it's like when people are like, I want to be an entrepreneur. And then they find out what it feels like to not have consistent income coming in. They go, wow, this was not for me. It might be that being with a roommate right now isn't for you right now until you get the job that makes you feel comfortable and you know what your monthly income is and your savings and what you can allot to the different things of life. So I think that might help you out too. We are sponsored, people. The J-Train podcast is brought to you by ExpressVPN. We've all been in lockdown for almost a year, and I think I've seen everything on Netflix by now. But with ExpressVPN, you can trick the computer into thinking you are in a different country, and you'll be able to watch just about anything in the world. You already know a VPN will protect your privacy online, but it's taken my TV watching game to the next level. Unlock movies and TV shows that are only available in other countries. It works with any service in over 100 countries: Netflix, Amazon, YouTube, BBC, you name it. I'll say this is great. I had this happen in Aruba. When I was in Aruba, I'd open up Netflix and the whole front page is just different. That's worth it in itself to give you a refresh on that front page, because genuinely what I do is I open the front page and I go, okay, these are the things. I don't even want to go digging. So it'll give you a new front page. It has things that, I have a lot of the services, the streaming services. You might only belong to one. Maybe you just have Netflix. So you'll have stuff on Netflix that you would find on other services that you wouldn't have. Now you don't have to double pay. Now you can find the Netflix in Aruba and it has just what you need. So ExpressVPN is ridiculously fast, stream in HD, no buffering, and it works for every person and device in your home. It's as easy as pie to use, even for a guy like me. Just push one button to change your location. Seamless. Use my special link right now, expressvpn.com/JTrain. Let me say that again. expressvpn.com/JTrain, expressvpn.com/JTrain, and you can get an extra 3 months free. Support the show, watch what you want, and protect your privacy at expressvpn.com/JTrain. The J-Train podcast is brought to you by Blue Blocks. Ooh, I love these. Blue Blocks makes the best sleep mask known to man. This isn't the complimentary mask you get for showing up on an airplane. This was designed to block out all the light. I just took a nap. I got back from flying, and I was dead. I took an early flight this morning, and I gave them a shot. And I have to tell you, usually with these masks, it's made too frilly. They're made to, like, for whatever reason, we decided that these sleep masks have to make you look like a prince or a princess, and that's not the case. You want functionality. You want the light blocked out. You want to get your sleeps in, get in your Z's, and it's comfy. Blackout curtains make you seem like a vampire, and they don't even work that well. If you need to catch some Z's, this is the mask for you. I'm telling you, I just used it, and I'm not a sleep mask guy. I usually look at these and go, oh, it says Sleeping Beauty on the front. You're like, oh, no, these are comfy. They're like wearing pillows on your face. The minute you put your face into the pillow, gone. I woke up, I thought it was going to be 10 o'clock at night. Any amount of light can keep me up. Even red light on my TV will annoy the hell out of me. The Remedy, REM Eddie, isn't that great? Sleep mask from Blue Blocks blocks out everything. Total darkness, 100% blackout. It's the Sandman. It's like the Sandman is personally cupping your eyes so you drift off to dreamland. I'm telling you, they even like have pillows around the outside of your eye. It's like wearing glasses that are pillows. And zero eye pressure, easy to sleep in. I just slept. They were unbelievable. Darkness is good for you. It's proven to increase restorative sleep, both REM and deep sleep. Adjustable head strap that's non-elastic so it does not wear out. Plus, its contoured sides allow for side and belly sleepers, no slipping. I'll even say this. You know what makes the sleep mask? You've been training to wear the sleep mask because it doesn't have an elastic headband. It doesn't have like the frillies on it. So it's made for comfort. But you have been training by wearing the mask all year. So now you're used to it. So it's not like you're not used to something on your face. So you've been training for this moment for better sleep. And it's ultra lightweight. This breathable fabric won't leave you feeling overheated. They thought of everything. Blue Blocks has done the research to make the best sleep mask available. I agree. Support them because they support this show. Get yours today and 20% off with code JTRAIN at blueblocks.com/JTRAIN. That's BLUBLOX.com/JTRAIN for 20% off. blueblocks.com/JTRAIN. Use code JTRAIN for 20% off. Sleep tight. JTRAINpodcast@gmail.com. JTRAINpodcast@gmail.com. Let's do this one. Ghosted after hookup. You ever been ghosted, Katie?
So yes, I got ghosted by my first serious boyfriend. And
your first serious boyfriend.
Yeah, like we were dating or seeing each other. I know.
The crowd is touched.
I know. And he ghosted, and I was just kind of like, if you love them, set them free. If they come back to you, then they're yours. I was just like, yeah, I guess that's done now. And he ended up, like, we reconnected a few months later, and he was just like, no, I was freaking out. And then he ended up being like the more serious one in the relationship. But yeah, he totally ghosted, and I was just like, what? Like,
what do you mean by the more serious one in the relationship?
Like I was trying to keep it more casual than he wanted to keep it, and that was kind of what his thing was. Yeah.
Interesting. So he was like, I can't deal with the casualness of this.
Apparently. No, we were just like, yeah, like I thought we were both on the same page, and apparently we were young too. We were probably 20, and he, I think, felt very serious feelings, and then he gets freaked out and just like ghosted. And
interesting.
Yeah.
Let's get into this email. Had a dating situation first this weekend. I am pretty sure I know what your advice will be, but I'm hoping you give me some insight as to what might have happened. Okay, so let's do it. I've been talking with this guy from Hinge for about 2 weeks. Had a phone date, made plans to meet in person the next weekend. Note, I'm temporarily living at my parents', but rented a place for a month in the new city I plan to move to, and he lives in this said city. That's an interesting situation. Very COVID real, where it's like, okay, you're talking with this guy for 2 weeks on Hinge in the city that you're like basically setting up shop in before you get there. So he made a dinner reservation, secured outdoor dining to be COVID friendly, took me out on my first night in my new city. Okay. The date was good. We had lots to talk about, flirted and joked. After seeing if I was okay sharing and if I trusted him, he took the lead and ordered the whole meal. That's kind of, I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I don't love it. My
girlfriend's in the corner. She made an audible scoff.
Yeah, I'm with her.
Yeah. That is something, if you're a guy listening to this, that is never, that, again, to go back to the last email where like someone was like, there's things you see on TV that just don't work in real life. You never see the boss go at the end of the interview go, you got the job. Yeah. Like you never see that. You also should never order everyone's meal on the first date. Because on TV, that's like a Disney Channel thing where you're like, oh, we'll have the lobster. And it's not a fun look.
The girl is never like, oh my God, all the jokes are true. I never know what to eat until you told me.
Exactly. After asking if I was okay sharing and if I trusted him, he took the lead and ordered. Oh, so I didn't really read that sentence right. The date was good. We had a lot to talk about, flirting and joked. After asking if I was okay sharing and if I trusted him, that's such a weird.
That's okay, but that's still a lot.
It's bizarre, but like, do you trust me? Yeah. We'll be having the eggs Benedict. You know, like what? Yeah. He took the lead and ordered the whole meal, wine, dessert, and all. It's been a while since I've dated a guy that would be comfortable with doing this, and it felt nice. Okay, this person disagrees.
Well, yeah.
Afterward, he offered to drive me home, and I accepted. He walked me to my door, and because I was proud of my cute Airbnb rental, I said, hey, you got to check out my place. Hey, that's one of those things, like you hear it as a guy, you're like, that guy did not think, I'm just going to check out the cute rental.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I love the backsplash. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a humble brag.
Yeah, right? This was truly a friendly invite with no ulterior motives. Yeah, I don't care if you got to be more protective. You're in a new city. Yeah. You're in a neighborhood you don't even know. It's night one. He's ordering, the crabs a la Frank. I don't know. Like, it's just, I don't know. Okay. I really couldn't read if he was into me or not. He's into you. If he's coming
if he went in to see the Airbnb, he's into you.
Yeah, just like Shelby said, he's not there for the backsplash.
Yeah.
Well, before I knew it, we're making out, and soon enough, naked on my bed. Neither of us had a condom handy, although he said he had some in the car. Weird. Yeah, I would say that's. I don't know. Car condoms, Shelby, Katie. Have we seen anything like this before?
Maybe he has a slim wallet.
I don't know. It's all a little too perfect.
Yeah.
For me. But he didn't attempt to get dressed and go get them. Yeah, of course. Okay.
He like, they're out in the car if you want me to go get them?
Yeah, I don't like any of this. We both went down on each other, but no intercourse. Cuddled for a bit after, then he had to leave to go tend to his dog. Again, another convenient... Oh, the dog's at home. It's got to eat. Oh, you have a dog? Like what? Yeah. Like, okay. He said he was busy the next day, Saturday, but that we should hang out either Sunday or Monday night. I texted him something funny in the morning, had a brief back and forth, and I never heard from him again. What gives? I've willingly had one-night stands before, but this is different. I never hooked up with someone after a full-on date and then been ghosted immediately after. P.S. The quote-unquote old me would have texted him Sunday afternoon, checking in on plans, but listening to your advice led me to hold off and leave the ball in his court. Well, I don't know if that's been my definitive advice, but Katie, what do you think of this situation?
I just remembered I was ghosted after a date sort of like this, and the guy, I don't know if this would apply in this situation, but the guy that I had gone on the date with had gotten very drunk, and apparently he was like embarrassed that he had gotten drunk, but I don't know anything that this guy did that would have been embarrassing. So I don't know if he just didn't like her as much as she thought that he did, but he was okay to have sex.
I think the thing that she's overrating is this delineation between one night stand and hook up after a date. That might be true for her. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying her feelings are off. Like you can feel whatever you want to feel after that. But I don't think guys go on dates with a lot of future in mind. Like, I think it's like guys are kind of like minute to minute on these dates where they're going in, they're like, we're having fun, so we should go to the next place. So we should go to your place. Oh, let me check out the backsplash on the sink. Okay, we're naked on your bed. Oh my God, we had sex. And then, or oh my God, we went, the condoms are in the car. Let's have no sex. We'll go down on each other. Then the guy the next day is going, do I want to do that again? It's not do I want to date them. It's do I want to do that again? Yeah. And that's why you get a lot of guys that are like, we did it already. Like they're not even thinking of the interpersonal kind of relationship that was built.
Like he might be a recycler and like pop up in her DMs in a few weeks if like things run dry. But he probably, just like you said, I think he's just like, I'm out going on dates. And also it's her first night there. He probably is worried that she's going to depend on him socially.
That's part of it. That's part of it where, you're the only I'm not looking to be your tour guide for the next, whatever it is. I think also like, I think it's okay to get closure from this person. I think it's okay to be like, hey, I had a lot of fun. I'm definitely looking to hang out again. Don't know where you went. Like, I think that's okay to say. I like the idea of just not saying. She says I would have checked in on plans, but listening to your advice. My advice is to hold off and leave the ball in his court. Right now, he lives in this world that I don't want to put blame on this person, but you're kind of allowing him to live in a world that he's never, I think with a lot of these ghosting situations, you want to have more control. The problem with the ghosting is you've lost control because now you're just like waiting on this person to just kind of like come back from the dead. You can look at him and go, hey, I'm looking for that hangout again. I'm here for another month. Like, what's the deal? And he's got to say yes or no. Yeah. And vague is also no. So if you said that to him, now you can say to him, well, if I don't hear from you, I got to end this, but I appreciate the night we had. Like, you can do that where at least you get an answer and at least it says to him, I'm not here just as an open tab on your browser. Yeah,
because if she wants the closure, I would definitely just message something casual like that. And then if she doesn't even need that closure, I would, if he ever messaged me again, I would then give him that closer message of like, oh, look at you back from the dead. All right, talk to you never.
Absolutely. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com, JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Here with Katie Arroyo at Katie G Arroyo, her podcast, Pinky Promise, Go, Go, Go. We'll do two more. Is that okay? We'll do one more and then I sent you a screenshot email. Yes. You have that? Okay, great. So let's do sexy outfit gone wrong. This is always a fun one.
It's my life.
So about a week ago, me and the guy I'm dating started talking about what turns us on, what we're into sexually. He told me that lingerie doesn't really do it for him, so of course I wanted to know what actually does. He mentioned a few things. One of them that he would find hot if I put on a sexy schoolgirl type outfit. I've never done anything like that before, but figured I'd go for it as a surprise. So the other night, after we got back to his place from a night out with friends, he was meeting some of my friends for the first time. Not sure if that matters at all, but it went super well. I was kind of on a high from the night, tipsy, and decided I wanted to go to put on an outfit for him. I was honestly kind of nervous. Yeah, put on that music show. That's right. I was honestly kind of nervous to begin with, but went with it. And I felt like I looked pretty damn good. But then when I surprised him, he basically rejected me. It was completely embarrassing. Oh no, cut the music. He said he just really wasn't in the mood and that he had even had a feeling I was going to change into something like this when I told him I'd be right back. Oy.
Yeah.
She didn't fail.
Yeah,
he fucking
that's
failed.
him. Yeah.
And basically, he should have stopped it because he wasn't in the mood. No, dude.
You should deal with it and suffer through.
Yeah. Play along. Be an actor at that point. Especially if you like someone, care about someone. They took a chance for you. I was, of course, upset / embarrassed. So soon after, I just went to sleep and he did too. The next morning, I was still embarrassed, but we cuddled. He apologized and had a normal morning. We didn't have sex, though. That was pretty much the only abnormal thing. I just couldn't get myself to initiate it, and he didn't. I think that's understandable. Also, I just want to quickly mention that we have had sex after drinking before, so I don't know what the issue was with that. I guess I just want to know if I should be concerned by this. We've been dating about 2 months now, and otherwise things have been going amazing. I felt really good about where things are going and haven't had any other issues. We've even dealt with the whole going on vacation thing, and it was totally fine. I'd love to know your thoughts. Katie, have you been in a situation similar? What do you think?
No, I've never been in that kind of situation, because if I did, I think I would just die.
Yeah.
I feel like that guy, I mean, if everything else is perfect, he at least owes her a conversation where she tells him, like, listen, that really hurt my feelings, or I don't know. I don't know what kind of explanation he's going to be able to give her, but I do feel for her. That's terrible. She's making herself vulnerable, and she's doing it in a way where she's literally doing it for him. Like, it's something that he talked about.
It sucks. It sucks. I'm with you 100%. They have to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to make this, but this will get, like, because now she's trying sexually with him.
Yeah.
He seemingly was trying, and then the minute the conversation became real, he embarrassed her.
Yeah.
And now you have to assume what's she going to be open with him in the future about. She's going to think 2, 3, 7 times before she does. This is kind of, so while they've been together 2 months and things have been great, as far as like interpersonally, they've taken giant steps back.
Yeah, to me, this is like, I hate to be one of, like, obviously there's some one-time things that happen one-time things that you would break up for, but I don't think there's a lot. But this is definitely one of those things where probably in a few years she'll look back and be like, oh, that was like a sign, that was a red flag that I ignored, was that when he didn't care about my feelings.
And I ignored because everything else was great. But like what happens with this sex stuff is it's like, oh, it's so stupid. It's just me in a schoolgirl's costume. No.
Yeah.
Take away the sex. He embarrassed you the minute you became vulnerable with him.
Also, you gave him a gift and he was ungrateful. Like,
yeah. And so if you don't have the conversation, it's doomed.
Yeah.
No question. If you do have the conversation, it has to be, hey, we have to get through this. I need an explanation that makes me feel better. I felt horrible and embarrassed when you said this and reacted this way to that. Especially when you said, I knew you were going to do this.
Yeah.
Because now everything I say feels like it's being dissected and feels like it's being related to, like, I'm the crazy one here, when it's really, you could have just went with it if you cared about me to make me feel good, because this is going to hurt you in the long run too, because now I won't be as open with you.
Yeah, definitely.
You got to talk it out.
Yeah,
go ahead, please.
Sure. No, I just feel like the fact that he said, I knew you were going to do this. I'm like, oh, so you let her embarrass herself? Like, what's
yeah,
even worse?
It's even worse. The J Train podcast is sponsored by Ritual. We deserve to know what we're putting in our bodies and why, especially when it comes to something we take every day. Ritual is a clean, vegan-friendly multivitamin with high-quality nutrients in bioavailable forms that your body can actually use. Do you really know what's in your multivitamin? Sugars, GMOs, synthetic fillers, artificial colorants, not to mention animal byproducts like a sheep's wool and gelatin from hooves and hides are all ingredients you might find in a multivitamin. This is, listen, these multivitamins are fantastic. I love starting your day with a multivitamin. I think it gets you on the right track towards being a better person. You become very aspirational when you take a daily multivitamin. I do. Jess loves Ritual, loves that it's natural. It's made traceable. You'll always know what you're taking and where the nutrients came from thanks to Ritual's one-of-a-kind visible supply chain. That's huge. You want to know what you're putting in your body. Ritual makes healthy habits easier. Multivitamins are delivered to your door every month with free shipping always. You can start, snooze, or cancel your subscription anytime. And if you don't love Ritual, within your first month, they'll refund your first order. That's great. Get key nutrients without the BS. Ritual is offering my listeners 10% off during your first 3 months. Visit ritual.com/JTrade to start your Ritual today. The J-Train podcast is brought to you by Best Fiends. You don't have to be a hardcore gamer to love this casual game. It's made for adults, but fun for all. They're always adding new puzzles and content, so you'll never run out of entertainment. Stop scrolling, get Best Fiends. I gotta say, I love this game. It is the perfect put your brain on the shelf game on your phone. It's easy to play. It's fun. It looks great. It's one of those things that just mindlessly takes you out of whatever stressful land you're in. Best Fiends is the binge-worthy mobile game, and it's free to download. With Best Fiends, there's something new today and tomorrow and every day after that, forever, all eternity. Literally thousands of levels to play and counting, plus tons of cute characters to collect. If you become slightly obsessed, don't blame me. Thank me. Download Best Fiends free on the Apple Store or Google Play. That's friends without the R, Best Fiends. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com, JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Let's do one more. Katie, you've been fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
We have a long email. You ready?
Yes.
It's a screenshot.
Okay.
Long-time listener needs some advice from the voice of reason. I recently matched with a guy a few years older than me, thinking he'd be more mature. We've been talking for a week. I initiated a FaceTime date on the second day, and his response was, "Wow, almost didn't expect to hear from you, and maybe if I have a minute later." Ugh, that's a horrible response too. Maybe if I have a minute later. To which I replied, "A minute of your time, to what do I owe the pleasure?" Okay, so she's being fun.
Yeah.
He reacted, and then later on, he FaceTimed me without warning. I don't like that.
I don't like that. That's showing up at someone's house. I don't like that.
Yeah. FaceTime from someone you do know without warning is annoying. Like, what is this? Is it emergency?
Yeah.
It was fun. Then we had back and forth a text banter, to which he became incredibly forward. Oof, read the screenshots. I enjoy the banter and conversation is easy, but the oversharing is creepy. And I feel off now because I didn't press for more details, didn't feel it was my place. We haven't met in person yet, so my question is, how should I have responded to these personal questions in a flirty but obscure way that won't show all my cards? Also, where do I go from here? Do I test the water with this guy? Does he give off serial killer vibes? Help.
Okay. I don't have the screenshot. I think it just sent the email, not the attachment.
Oh, really? Hold
yeah.
on. Let me make sure.
But I will fill the time by saying I once went on a date with a guy who we had drinks only. And then when I got home, he sent me a message. He called and left me a voicemail and said, "Oh, I would love to have you dress up in a nurse's outfit and I could choke you."
I mean, my God.
And I
nothing like that came up on the date?
No. It just reminds me of this guy of just like going from 0 to 100. And I was like texting my friends, like, if you start with choking, like, what do we end with? Stabbing?
I know.
Like,
oh my God, he on X Games mode.
Yeah. Well, I would say this to her. Before we even get to the text messages, you should not test the waters with this guy.
No.
You should not. When someone is being weird, cagey about their time and the FaceTiming, that to me is someone who isn't being honest right away. If you feel creepy, it is creepy. That's all it is. And these apps are about, getting introduced to people. Just because you got introduced to someone doesn't mean you have to go out. So if you're getting creepy vibes now, it ain't going to end. But let's read through these texts. So I'll be him, you be her.
Okay.
Are you still a virgin? I mean, this is
already.
number one.
I'm like,
already.
Ugh. Wow, LOL. I am not LOL, but I don't sleep with just anyone. So compared to you, probably. Laugh emoji.
Whoa. A lot of judgment there. Well, this is like kind of like the move that creepy guys who want to have sex right away do. They make you the judgy one.
Yeah.
They go, because he should be judged. Are you still a virgin is a question that should be judged of anyone that just out of nowhere. So when she says probably compared to you, now he flips it to a lot of judgment there. And it's like, no, she's playing along with the ridiculous scenario that you brought to light.
Yeah.
So you deserve to be judged. Okay, so let's keep going.
Sorry. To be fair, you did say you've been with every eligible bachelorette in Boston and to ask my friends if they've heard of you. I already hate him. I hate him.
Yeah, I don't like him either.
Oh, God.
Yeah, right.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh.
You didn't do that, right?
What?
Ask your friends about me.
God, no, LOL. They don't even know about you.
Tell them. Do you even want to fuck me, LOL? Dude, get away from this guy.
Yeah.
Like it's a two-way street. Wow, okay. Was not expecting that.
I mean, yeah, you're attractive, of course, but slow down. Ha ha ha.
No, it's totally cool. You're cute too. Are you on birth control? No,
No, I hate him. Like,
I
why?
hate him.
If I feel like she should only be responding to him so she can get terrible screenshots to send to her friends, and she should not give him any more of her time.
Yeah, and it's like, and
Another
also like
successful interaction with a man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy, I mean, like, I know she's like, how do I answer this? Should
Be flirty?
Be flirty with this guy, test the waters with this guy. No, run. He's asking if you're on birth control to make sure that he's saying, hey, will I ever have to be responsible for you by accident? Like, that's what he's saying. Like,
Yeah.
So let's keep going.
Okay. So he asks if she's on birth control, and she says, yeah, why?
It's just something that's really important to me in a relationship.
Shut up!
Dude.
I love this. I can't.
Sound like, no, it's important to you because you like to have sex with people that you don't really want to end up with.
Yeah.
And it's like so he goes, I got a girl pregnant once. So like, I know I don't want to have kids or anything, but it's a big deal to me. Like now what he's doing so wrong is that he's like making it into this like heroic.
Yeah.
It's a big deal to me. He's taking some sort of moral high ground. It's like, no, fuck off.
Yeah. Ugh. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. It's important to me too. Ideally, I'd like to be married before I have kids, or at least be with someone for a long time.
And she's so innocent, and I
know.
I want to feed her some cynicism because, right? Like, because you want to be. She's like, well, it is important to me, like as if he's like, yeah, so good, we're on the same. So hopefully we get married first. No, he's just trying to get information. So then he writes BB.
Ugh, yeah.
Be back.
That's baby.
Right?
I think it's baby. Like, hey, baby.
Oh.
I think that's what it is.
Okay, so baby.
So it's like, baby, yeah.
I just want wanted your attention.
Are you gonna ask for my social security number next? LOL.
Was gonna go for the PIN number so I could take your money. Oh, now he's taking her money?
Oh, I mean, this is so infuriating.
Okay, it gets worse.
Yeah.
Now he writes, can I text you dirty shit now?
Yeah, no pictures though. Have to leave something for the imagination.
Excuse me? LOL, I don't even know you. I'm not sending you nudes. Look at then he takes moral high ground again.
I hate these guys.
This is so
Just
manipulative.
walk away, and then bring an end to the horror.
And then he writes, nice try though. Yeah, that's what she was trying for. No, she was telling you not to send a dick pic. Like, because you have been an animal from day one. Okay.
Okay, good.
You're probably a virgin anyway, so like wouldn't want to defile you. Ugh, he used the word defile. Yeah. I'm defiled by his defile.
Me too. Okay, bye with the hand wave emoji.
Wait, are you actually a virgin? Be honest. Like, he's obsessed with this virgin thing.
Yeah. No, why are you so pressed about it? That was like kind of mean.
Yeah, and so that's the end of the conversation.
I want to take that phone. Everybody. I can't with this guy. I didn't think men still acted like this. This reminds me of this is like high school bully, like the bad guy in a high school movie would be like, ugh, I just can't.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Listen, we read this. I'm sure like everyone's a little bit got the heebie-jeebies the same way we do. Everyone's got like a little chill down their spine. This sounds very bad. Like that fact that this person's out there doing these things. He's just looking, someone, it's just not great. And she should tell her friends about this guy so that they don't match with him as well. And and this podcast is all fun and games, but this type of text, like, it's icky. It's horrible. Yeah. It's no one, and she's going along with it so innocently and honestly that like, but there has to be a point where she listens to this and listens to us both going, Like, this is the problem with texting and relationships is it's very lonely. So you get in this place where it's just you and this other person, and she's like, I just want to go on dates and be fun and flirty and sexy with you over text. And he's gone so far ahead that she's now questioning herself and her, involvement. You know what I mean?
I do think there's a thing where, like, women are always accused of, like, not liking to have sex. And so if this guy is creepy, like, yeah, I wouldn't want to have sex with him, but he's kind of making it like, oh, well, are you a virgin? And I just like, no, you're just fucking creepy. Like, if you were just nice, she probably would have already had sex with you. Like, it sounds like he's hot from her text with him. So I'm sure he's attractive and she just wants him to be nice, but he's not nice. Like, I can't
walk away. And she asked what could she have done differently. With someone not answering, with someone like this, they're always going for the kill.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's going to get annoying. And it's kind of happening here where, like, you start to not trust yourself. You're like, am I the crazy one?
Yeah.
Because you're like, you're just being annoying. Like, they're just going to always pester you. The minute you go from, like, hey, but no nudes, he's going to go, whoa, whoa, whoa. When he's the one talking about sexting and all that stuff. So you're not crazy for saying that. So you got to run away.
Yeah, he has, like, mental problems. Like, this guy has a little psychosis going on where he has to, even the way he has to be in control of when they speak, where he's like, if I have a minute for you, but also I'll FaceTime you with no warning because I only talk to you on my time. Like, this guy's going to be a total waste of her time, and I hate him for her, and I want to go beat him up for her.
Me, I do too. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com, JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Katie Arroyo, thank you so much for coming on. This was fantastic.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Everybody go follow Katie at Katie G Arroyo on Twitter and Instagram. Katie Learns on Twitch. So proud of you. That's so amazing. I'm so happy for you and your boyfriend and the podcast, Pinky Promise. Go check it out. Shelby, thank you for being here on the ones and twos.
No, thank you.
At Classic Shelb, a great opening today. Fantastic. Really let me spread my wings. I'm Jared Freid. If you haven't checked out the comedy special, it's called Socially Distanced, of course. It's on YouTube right now. Go watch it. Send a nice comment, a like, and we'll be back next episode. Boom. Don't forget to like the video you just watched. I have many more. Subscribe to the channel right now. Like and subscribe, you fool. There's even a bell you can click to. Now you've got your week set Monday through Friday. I'm here for you.